I grew up with a very deep respect for mathematics, science. I grew to have a deep respect in statistics and in the law. With this type of idea, as being a Wunderkinder, as they called me, I grew up with a very good academic record and got the chance to work on the Apollo navigation system at AC Electronics, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And having learned a deep respect for the scientific process and science and studies and research and the double blind and all this, I started to look into the idea of an energetic medicine, measuring the body electric and changing the body electric. Having a deep respect for the law, I found out that in 1976 there was a law that said you had to register the device. I started doing studies independently with an institutional review board that we made in Colorado to be able to do a very insignificant risk study to study the body electric and to study the electrophysiology reactivity and the electrophysiology of the acupuncture points in the human body. I started doing this in the 80s, basically, and then started coming up with all these different ideas of what the body electric was and how to measure it. All the work we did at the AAQBT in New Mexico, working in Denver and Ohio and New Mexico, over 935 patients. We put this all together and found that I made a package to get a device registered with the United States FDA, sent it in 1987, and in 1989, on October the 13th, we got the EPFX, the Electrophysiological Feedback Zeroid, registered. No device was ever sold without a proper registration, because I have a deep, deep, deep respect for the law. When I got our device registered, we started selling around the world. I was the one who got acupuncture needles registered when in 1991 I sent in a package showing that the acupuncture needles were medical equipment. Finally, CBS comes together. And CBS tells people in the first little couple minutes of their interview that there's no studies. And yet, now we've had over 250 studies published in peer-reviewed medical journals. That's a complete lie that they stated. They said it was not FDA approved. The FDA approved our registration in 1989. They said it was banned for use in America, and that's not true. That's a complete lie. And then CBS said the lie that I, Nelson, Desiree Dubonnet, that I am a wanted felon in the United States hiding overseas. This is a complete lie. 4 major lies done by the CBS people. They also said that people did not get proper treatment for their diagnosed cancer because of devices like this. At the end, they say that the FDA never returned their calls. CBS also never called us. They didn't do the simple due diligence of asking us some simple questions. Because of this, one person made a court case against CBS to take CBS to court for their interference of their business. That simple one person to be able to go there and champion this cause. Now, it needs to be told that all these lies are coming to a head, and that the true story now needs to be told. A story of respect. A story of respect for the natural problem. We must have the due diligence, the respect for science, publication, research, clinical studies, peer-reviewed double-blinds. We must respect that. We have to look at the statistical analysis of what we think versus what actually happens. Put it on the paper and tell people the truth. And when it doesn't work, we tell them. When it works, we tell them. And we have to have that respect for the law. Alternative medicine hasn't had an awful lot of respect for the law, and I do. I have a deep, deep, deep respect for the law to do everything right, proper, and in the context of what should be done in an honorable, ethical way. Now we are exploring and building to a head all of these different processes and exposing all these nerves. This is Professor Desiree Dubonnet signing off.
It is called the Electrophysiofeedback X-Roid System, or EPFX. And right now, thousands of practitioners around the country, like this woman, Catherine Crosta in New Jersey, say it can detect, even treat diseases, serious diseases.
Everything from cancer to bee stings, immune system imbalance, systemic electrical oscillation disorder.
We went to see for ourselves. Our visit was $300 cash, and we took along a hidden camera. Here's how Crosta says it works.
What we're going to do is we're going to bombard you with 8,000 or 9,000 different frequencies.
Those frequencies are delivered through contacts she hooked up to our producer's ankles, wrists, and forehead. Crosta explained that the EPFX reads the body's energy fields, then finds what she claims are predispositions to all sorts of medical conditions.
Is she able to diagnose?
That's the ticket.
The EPFX doesn't have studies to back up its claims, is not FDA approved. Even worse, it is banned here in the U.S.
CBS tells wild, bold-faced lies. They call me a felon. You're not allowed to call somebody a felon who's not a felon. This is against the rules. This is libel and slander in America. They said our device had no studies. There's thousands of studies. They said it had no registration. It was registered in America in 1989. It has a full registration and is still legal for use and sale today. With thousands of different articles and hundreds of research articles and movies, we have definitely validated, verified the full science of the EPFX.
We've had people who have not got treatment for their diagnosed cancer because they went off and used these machines.
And that has lawmakers calling for an investigation into EPFX manufacturers and operators.
There's really kind of a more loathsome thing to do than to take advantage of somebody who's in pain and fear.
The EPFX is just one of several similar machines authorities say are smuggled into the U.S.
We don't smuggle systems into the U.S. They're sold freely and legally. Thousands of them. World Health Product Rating Service was developed in Germany by a group of scientists, lawyers, and doctors to evaluate and check the validation of claims. So if you have questions about whether the device you're using has been properly validated, registered for sale and use, please contact Whippers.
Okay, let's get a little treatment, shall we?
Crosta tells our producer the EPFX is running interference on a number of her potential health problems. We confronted Crosta back on the street. How does that make you feel, knowing that you're using a machine that the FDA...
I don't give a about the DA.
She insisted she did not know about the ban and that she has cured breast cancer and other ailments using her EPFX, where medical doctors have failed. You can get your training from DVDs and manuals and yet come up with better results. How does that work?
because we're not from the cut, slash, and burn school of medicine where you cut them, you poison them, or you radiate them.
Thousands of these machines are still being manufactured, and despite that ban by the FDA, you can easily find them for sale online. And as far as enforcement, the FDA never returned our calls. I'm Kirsten Cole, CBS 2 News.